It's very, very cold today, but it's sunny, which is brilliant. So I intend on spending the whole day outside going through wiring again. Yesterday I'd made a start, didn't get particularly far. Today I want to get the headlights all wired up, front lights all wired up, everything in the engine bay buttoned down, all the earths checked, and then the same in the boot, just make sure everything's terminated properly. I'm getting voltage where I need it. I do have the V8S out the front from which I can rob bits and pieces if I need them. I've ordered a new brake light switch from a Mini, which is the same, for about £3, and a couple of flasher relays, and not much else to say. But it is goddamn cold. I have a nice cup of tea keeping me warm for the moment, but I'm going to go and find another coat because I'm freezing my balls off. These are that's the original flasher relay that I pulled out that's very corroded. That's one I've borrowed from my car, which I know works. Slightly confused by it has an L and a B pin. I don't actually, or I didn't think it made a difference, because it's just a bimetallic strip that heats up and then bends away and makes and breaks a contact. So I don't think it matters which way around the pins go. So that goes on there, I think. Green, where are we? Hazard flasher, there should be an indicator flasher separate to that. Is left hand flasher warning light, so that's, this isn't right. Oh, that's why. A page has fallen out. Okay, this is going to make more sense now. 38, that should be the hazard switch. It is. 35 leads to the turn flasher unit, which is the small one. The first one, which is light green, which is that one. So that one goes on there. Like so. I will just check I'm getting voltage to that when the hazard light switch is in. Then that one should be the actual hazard flasher, which is probably 37. Hazard flasher unit, yeah, which comes from the fuse as a UN, which is blue brown, and goes out as a light green purple. So that's that one. So that's this kiddie, I think. Yeah, 4 by 21 watt, so that's max 94 watts, so that's controlling 4 bulbs, so that's correct. If it was just a turn signal flasher, it would just be 2 lots of 21 watts. So those are in, hazard switch is in. I cleaned that up last thing yesterday. I never actually checked it. So now I'm gonna reinstate the fuses, I think, because the fuses are all rusty and corroded. So I'm going to spend some time cleaning up the pins there, because one of those will be feeding that whole circuit, that one there. So it's coming in on brown, so it's on all the time, which makes sense because the hazards are on all the time. So the fuse that has brown going in and then blue brown coming out. So I can see blue brown down there. Oh, ouch. I don't know whether you can see it, but right at the bottom there it's a blue brown. Above it is a brown, but it's bridged from the other side, so it's that one, I think. Right, I'll report back momentarily. I'll get some of this out of the way. Go in the back. Yeah, basically power is there all the time, or should be. Goes through this fuse out there down to my hazard relay, I think, and then switch, and then the turn signal one. So that doesn't look very good. This didn't look very good. I've cleaned some of the rust off, but I need to get a multimeter to check I've actually got power there, and then clean up that contact and make sure that that has continuity down to my relays, or the first relay, then the switch, then the second relay, and then the indicators. Complicated. So I'm just going to do a continuity check from the outgoing side of that fuse down to the blue brown on the hazard switch thing. That does look corroded, so I'll check it on the back side, which isn't corroded, and then the front side, and see what's what. Good. Okay, so that does need some cleaning, but at least the wire makes sense, and the fuse I think is okay too. Well, visibly I can see it's okay, but sometimes the terminals can rot out. There you go. No, it does work. Right, more cleaning to do. Where's my sandpaper? Yeah. Progress being made. I now have 12 volts down there at the hazard flasher relay, so that's good. Cool. Right, I've just chopped up some sandpaper, sanded out all the pins in there, fitted the relay, and now with my multimeter I'm getting 12 volts up at the purple, or the green purple up here, which is the power into the whole of the indicator system, so that's good. Now I just need to follow it back out to the indicator turn signal flasher relay. At the moment, according to the book, once 12 volts gets up to the switch on light green purple, which it is, it should be sat there. The indicators should be fed actually by this one, green, which comes from another fuse which is fed by white. So I know I'm getting power to that side when the hazard is pressed, but I'm not getting power through the green yet, so that's the next one to check. Just done another test up at that plug. I'm only getting 10 volts, which means it's not giving as much power as it should, so it's probably corrosion on the fuses again. Annoying. Again, we have a rather corroded fuse. That's white, that's green. Annoyingly, somebody's put a scotch lock in the green and it tees off somewhere. So I don't know why that's there. It might be something to do with the spark right alarm, like a signal flasher repeater, something. I don't know. So maybe that's why I'm losing a bit of voltage. But anyway, got to clean that up, try again. Right, so now with the ignition on, I should be getting 12 volts or close to up there. All that work for 0.3 of a volt improvement. I think that might have something to do with general corrosion on that fuse, but I'm going to plug the hazard switch back in and then check what's coming out of that towards the indicators. Okay, followed it through. You get 12 volts at the fuse. By the time it's got to the switch, it's only about 10 and a bit. Drops to about 8 by the time here, and by the time you actually back up at the indicator switch, it's about 7. So, and then when you operate the switch, I haven't done this up by the way, that's because the whole column's loose. All of these little contactor pads, everything in there is probably really corroded, so I'm going to have to clean all of it. This is going to take me ages, so I'm not going to film it. I just thought I'd try and start the car, and the car ain't starting because the battery's flat, so it's possibly not that I've got these massive loads lost on it. It might just be the battery's flat, so I'm going to go and charge it. While I'm waiting for the battery to charge, I'm cleaning up many of the pins that I can get to, just with sandpaper in here and then ragging it backwards and forwards, and you'll notice those are the headlight ones. Inside there are the indicator ones. It's a pain in the arse to try and take this apart. I've done it before and a whole load of springs fell out. This is slightly different to the ones I've taken apart before. The later Series 2, you can actually get quite a lot of access into here, and you can actually get a screwdriver in and you can clean the little wiper pads and the pins like that, and you get all the green crap off. Can't do that with this one because it's got this big plastic bit in the way. So what I've been doing instead is shooting more contact cleaner, specialist fast drying contact cleaner, into there, and then just using lazy friction, as I would call it. What I'm going to do now is take the multi-plug connector off and then just check the resistance or the potential voltage drop between the incoming power to the indicators and then the outgoing to the lights. So light green goes in and then it goes out on green white and green red. So I will just put my meter across there and see what the resistances are. For this I'm going to just do a continuity check first, and I'm going to have to employ mouth cam because I need two hands to check this. So if you hear heavy breathing, it's not meant to be erotic, it's just me with the GoPro in my mouth. So first off, let's do right hand indicator. Well, what's green red? Green red is going to 31, 32, sorry, 32, 33, 34. So that's all left side. So I want to go left indicate and then check voltage between, or continuity between green brown and green red. So I do have continuity. Those pins aren't the nicest. Now let's see what the resistance is. It will work, that's the important thing. Right hand. Right hand is much better. So just as a test, before it was about 40 ohms on left. So let's give it a bit more of a wiggle and a squirt. Right, I'll try again. God damn it. I don't know whether you just saw that, but that dropped to about 3 ohms. So when we've got power, that's plugged in, that's got to be plugged back in. Theoretically, we should have indicators, or certainly we should have power from here going out to the indicators. We just need to then check all the earths and the light units themselves. Well, I couldn't be bothered to wait for it to charge up, so I have another battery jump in that one. Something strange is going on. So if I put the ignition on and I turn the ignition, also the indicator on, slightly better behaviour. A minute ago it was just lighting up constant. I think we might be making some progress. The weird thing was that I could only get the indicators on if the lights were on as well, which obviously shouldn't be the case. Yeah, okay, right. I think we have the left indicator on as well, going. Right hand front, nothing. So still some work to do. I'm not going to do any more on the indicators until I've got the car charged up and the engine running. I've been looking at the headlights and the engine bay wiring, and the way these should be wired is that the sort of dipped beam should have like a multi-plug on it. Main beam, which is in the smaller section of the lamp, should just have an old school H1 bulb with a boot and then one of these church window type connectors. Dotty is a bit different. Somebody's been bodging it. That's for dipped beam. So when it's on dipped, it's just that. It is a dual filament bulb. It's just that one main beam. It switches the other filament in that bulb and this on. This should be connecting to that, but somebody's put some kind of weird block on the end of it. And unfortunately, they've done something slightly different this side. So again, that's our plug for there. This should have been the one for in there, but they've got rid of the church windows and just put generic blocks on. I don't have, unfortunately, a male or the reciprocal part for this that I can solder onto those, which is annoying. I'm going to double check in the shed, but I don't think I do, so I might have to terminate the lights in a slightly wonky donkey way. I'll reuse the boots, but what I'll probably do is put normal spade end terminals on these, post them through the boots and then onto the back of the bulb. Hopefully I've got enough slack to do that. I've struck gold in my cave of wonders. I've found two ends that have the right sort of fitting for here, and they actually have the right gauge wire. So I'm going to remove, where is it, those block terminals from both sides, then solder these on, and then these should go fine on there. I am noticing that that is really chunky, this side of the block, but that side of the block it's spindly like this, so it should be fine. It's just one single main beam bulb, so what's that, 55 watts, so it should be fine. So down in the garage where it was easy to work, I've tinned the ends of my donor plugs. I've just cut the connector off that end. Going to tin these and then try and solder these on nicely, and I've got a little bit of heat shrink as well. Don't like trying to solder outside, especially on a cold day, especially where that was actually quite chunky, because it doesn't always go very well, but we'll have a bash. Got there in the end. Had to preheat it with a fag lighter and then clamp it in there and then get on there fast with one solder iron. I did try using two solder irons at the same time, but I ran out of hands. That one's done. Got to do the same the other side. I'm packing up for lunch. I'm a bit grumpy. Can't work out the lights. That's one light all plugged in, and I've been testing it with the multimeter and the power probe, so I know all the bulbs are good, and then I've plugged it into the car loom, powered that up, and I thought I was getting power at the fuses up there, and from the fuses it should just go straight out to the lights, which means it should be good up to the switch, but it's all stopped again. Tail lights still work, but yeah, there's something funny going on, but I can't be bothered to look at it today, or at lunchtime anyway. I might have another play this afternoon, or I might go do something for myself, other projects, but yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Battery is still on charge after I've had my lunch. It's still chuffing cold, so I've put my hat on. Oops. I was going to say I've made a nice fresh cup of tea, but I've managed to spill it across myself, which was clever. in here I started routing the number plate lights. I don't know what I've actually done with them, but I'm going to start terminating them properly. If you watch the earlier videos, you'll remember that these wire colours don't have anything to do with the workshop manual. I've literally run a pair of wires that will plug in somewhere down here and that I can run my lights from it. That's out of a Series 2 tailgate. This is obviously a Series 1, so it doesn't have the wash wipe, doesn't have some of the other stuff that goes through it, like central locking. It's just got feed for the number plate lights, which will sit in here, and then when the tailgate's closed, illuminate the number plate. So I'll go dig out all my bits and pieces and then start working out where they should be plugged in. It's probably that, but I don't know. Actually, that's too fat. That must have been for the heated rear window. The current carrying capacity of those is absolutely massive, so maybe it's that one. We'll have a look. Right, that is my rear number plate light loom. So that's going to be terminated to those wires there. Then these sit through those holes, one either side. They in turn thread through that hole there. Can't remember which way round they go. Those are the little shields, so that when you're driving along at night, the number plate lights aren't shining in your rear view mirror. And then these bulb holders go on the ends with these little bulbs. I've only got one of these. I know that one works, but I don't have any more, so I need to get some of those. But it's just a case of cleaning all this up, cleaning all the corrosion off, fit it. I've fitted the black covers in there. I've found another bulb, cleaned the holders up, and then I've put new terminals on my little bit of loom. Can I do this one-handed? Whoom. Of tailgate lights. So I'm now going to connect those to those, and then work out where the power comes into the boot to run them when the side lights are on. Pleased with that. Got working tail lights, tail number plate lights, what am I on about? The wires run up through there. One is just earth to there, and the other one is into the loom here. So that's good. Now I can fit those in properly and fit the rear grille. I've also got to install all of the one-way vents that go into the underside of the tailgate up here and let cabin air out, but don't let exhaust fumes in. Done. Grille in, all of the little vents are in. There's still a few bits like parcel shelf straps and that to be done, but now we have illuminated rear number plate area, so that's good. I'm going to call it a day because I got other things to do now. See you later.